Hello everybody, here I am again. It's time for a video. I just was disappointed with my last one. I didn't think it went down terribly well, which I don't really understand because it was full of joy and light and laughter, I thought. But anyway, I've done some reassessment, and when I checked the records, I find that the video on life and death experiences was actually very popular. So it seems that people are more interested in life and death experiences than joy and laughter. So I'm going to do a rerun and change my tactics slightly, and just tell a couple of stories about mystical stories, perhaps, which I think people would more like to hear. I don't know. We'll wait and see. So a bit about me, really, because I don't think I haven't mentioned much about me, but all of my life I seem to be a link between the upper and the inner. I do quite a lot of work on the inner world, I call it the subterranean, I suppose. I've got a lot of Pluto in my chart, which is about life and death experiences, and my life been about all those things, really, and I've got used to it, I expect. Pluto's about the underworld and Persephone, and her mother went to rescue her, apparently, when Pluto abducted her. So perhaps I'm doing the same sort of thing, and people say I do actually send a lot of light into the darkness. That's where I work. So I didn't know that until yesterday when I was thinking about it. I thought, yes, I am a link, and maybe this is what I should be talking about more than the fun bits. But we'll wait and see anyway. So a bit about me is, many years ago I was a channel. I've always been a mystic, really, although I'm not clairvoyant or clairaudient. I think for me it's the intuition, which is called clairsentience, and I probably have always done that all of my life, ever since I was a child. That's part of my mission. So I'm going to start with a little story about my Egyptian initiation. Elisabeth Haich has written a book called Initiation, and I can identify with some of the things she says. This is going back a very long way, of course, and it was a time when priestesses had initiations in tombs, in pyramids. I think it's more done in everyday life nowadays, but anyway, this was a particularly difficult experience. It's my last one. I don't know all the details, but I know I did a workshop one day with somebody who was talking about this kind of thing, and I immediately went into a state of shock because I remembered what had happened to me, and I was put into this sarcophagus, and they really are very thick and concrete things. They're solid, big things, and so I was put into this sarcophagus as part of the initiation, and the lid was slid on top of me. I think there were two priestesses, one either side of me, and I think I've met them in this lifetime. And you're supposed to be in there for 3 days of darkness, where you actually travel the underworld and experience your death and all that stuff. So it was a very important initiation. Unfortunately, when everybody had gone and I was left in a very dark place, which I was prepared for, somebody had left a huge python in the sarcophagus, which crawled up and sat on my throat, and ever since then I've had problems with my throat chakra. Of course I died. I don't think it intended to kill me, but it just sat there, and I was banging this, trying to get out, with no success, of course, and I died. So and when you die during an initiation, especially the last one, you have to repeat it at some point, and I think like Elisabeth, I think you repeat it in a lifetime. So I expect this lifetime has been all about facing the demons and the snakes and the what have you, and going through a death experience, which I think all of us are, actually, because we're all meant to be transforming, aren't we? Which is another theory of mine. Is I think part of it is we are going into our own underworlds and facing our own demons. So we have to do is to clear out so that we can accept. I think Jesus said, you can't put new wine into old bottles, so all our physical bodies are being cleared out for this new energy that's coming in, and we are all having to face so many peculiar things, and we don't even know what they are. So this Egyptian initiation, I can identify with that. And I have met a few snakes in my life as well. That's another story. And also, I think I wanted to say about a story about my mum when she died. So this is probably, I don't know, I've been thinking about this a lot really, and I think I do have a lot of very strange stories, although I'm not mediumistic, but I think I seem to be travelling a lot in between stations, if you know what I mean, and doing my bit, as a lot of us are. But I think for me it's like I seem to be spending more time. Well, I'm spending time in both worlds, which is quite tricky, because it is exhausting actually, and I have to have quite a lot of time off to sit quietly and reassess and sort things out. Anyway, the second story is about my mum when she died, and she died after my dad, a year after. I think when people are in their 80s, that when one partner goes, the inevitable is the other would like to. And I said that to Mum. I said, you'd like to go. She said, you're the only one who's understood that. Anyway, she did die, and I didn't get to the funeral because I was too old to go. And a couple of weeks later, my daughter came to see me, and she said, Mum, I'm having visions of Nanny. She doesn't know where she is. Is there anything we can do? I was surprised. I didn't know my daughter was clairvoyant. She probably is. Anyway, we sat together, and I visualised. I suppose because I had my daughter with me, I could visualise my mum, and she was very lost in this dark place and needed rescuing. So she said, I don't know where I am, sort of thing, which I've never really understood, because we all have our spirit guides, and I'm sure we are all quite safe and led to where we have to be. But anyway, this is where she was, and she was worried about the little dog that she'd left behind. And so I said, look, Mum, I said, don't worry, just look for Dad and he'll come and get you. So he did. A few moments later, I could see my dad, who'd gone the year before, come towards her and catch hold of her arm and take her away. Both my daughter and myself thought this was a very lovely experience, really. And I think there are a lot of people stuck on the inner planes. It happens when there's a car accident, or when people are like, I worry about these plane crashes and things like Titanic, big accidents where people must be in a state of shock when they go that quickly because they're not prepared. And I think this is, nowadays, I think a lot of us would like to be able to help, and I think I do. Sometimes I go off for a couple of hours in the afternoon. I think I'm doing work for, helping to send people on. This is very needed today, because there are so many people die in numbers, aren't they? 170 in a plane crash and so forth. So this is my little effort for today. Hope you've enjoyed it. I'm not sure how clear I've been, because this is a bit of a new experience, talking about my peculiar experiences. Anyway, we'll wait and see how it goes. Lovely to talk to you again, and I've got to think of some more stories for next time. So God bless and take care. Bye bye for now.